Hello and welcome back, folks. We're here for your finals of Week 3 of the North American Challenger Cup Series. My name, as always, is F. Dot, and I'm joined here by my comrade, co-caster, Colorman, Cret.
It's good to be here, F. Dot. We've got two teams facing us in the finals. It's going to be the Rambozos versus Vicious and Delicious. We saw a great game coming out from V&D. They did get bamboozled by a fire giant play, but they turned it in their favor because they won the game within 5 minutes.
I really liked that play coming out from Apex Predators, but at the end of the day, the play from Vicious and Delicious was just a little bit better. And because of that, they find themselves banning out Geb in the finals.
Yeah, that was actually what Vicious and Delicious banned out last game as well. They just don't like dealing with that Geb. I guess it doesn't suit their support.
I can respect that.
Sure. I mean, he's really annoying, and if you don't feel like picking him, you might as well ban him. But Loki and Nuwa banned away. Nuwa we saw played very well by Off the Team, also known as Kabam. And I'm going to keep saying it, so everyone's going to call him Kabam forever. Mercury will be banned away by Vicious and Delicious, and the Rambozos are hovering on an Athena first pick.
The Athena first pick is something that we've seen for a long time now. I mean, venturing almost before... I want to say the path to our regionals is when we saw Athena really start to hit that first pick stride. The global presence of her her ability to set everything up with a taunt is just way too strong not to really be able to... No, it's way too strong to be ignored. So we're going to see that picked up, and Ron Jean-Quay picked up on the right side. So support picked up for Rambozos. Vicious and Delicious, 2 mages.
Yeah, I mean, Ra Jean-Quay is very strong because you've got the Jean-Quay, which we saw Heater play last game, very effectively do a lot of damage with, and then you've got one of the ways to counter him picked up. Now, Nemesis will be locked in for the Rambozos, but and while the Nemesis pick is the classic counter pick to Jean-Quay, it's not a guaranteed win. I mean, Heater was really very effective in the last game because Vicious and Delicious didn't really give the chance for their opponents to use the Nemesis ult and kill Heater. Their opponents were too busy being overrun, and Ra with his heal can definitely help Jean-Quay survive. You just put it up in the front and you say, alright, stand in this, get your healing. There's of course counterplay to that too with Weakening Curse, but Ra has other tools. He's not just a heal, which is what makes him so strong. Rama and Apollo will be your hunters in this game, and Agni and Freya banned away.
This is going to make the ban phase for Rambozos really easy. They go ahead and instantly ban out that Freya. They have to watch out for that jungle because the Sobek pick, I like it. Sobek is a lot of fun if you're good at it, and it can set your team up immensely. And I really like the Sobek pick. Didn't exactly predict it, Cret. I might have gone something different. Sobek is very personal, I feel.
Yeah.
If you and your team are good with situational awareness and able to really make use of the displacement, this character can pay dividends to the nth degree. But if not, you can fling somebody in the utmost wrong spot. So Vicious and Delicious must have a lot of confidence to go ahead and pick the alligator.
Well, it is one of Wubba's better characters. It's something he's been playing for a long time. He is Diamond. But Aphrodite Isis, so here's the other way to counter Jean-Quay. You get Sustain from Aphrodite to keep your Nemesis alive. Great link target for Afro. And then you have an Isis to say, alright, well, what's Jean-Quay's game plan? We all know it. He's going to size up your team, get some sort of speed buff, ideally, a Heavenly Agility, say from the Ra, and then he's going to yell and run at you and just drop a lot of ghosts. And Isis just is like, alright, I'm going to drop my ult. We're all going to stand in it. And then we're going to take less damage, heal up more damage, pop it for a bunch of damage. So a good Isis ult, good play out of the Rambozos could be really strong here. We'll see if they can pull it off. But I love the Isis versus Jean-Quay matchup. It was the original counter. Not really counter, because Jean-Quay was incredibly powerful relative to the other gods in the game. It was the original way of dealing with Jean-Quay, and when you made Isis work, it could be very, very strong.
Right. I also, before we get into the match, I love the Aphrodite pick into the Sobek. As the game progresses and we see the transition into team fights, Aphrodite is going to be able to find the person that gets flung, hopefully is already kissed to them because of the recent change, and we'll be able to immune them with that ultimate. We'll see if it all works out for Rambozos or if Vicious and Delicious are going to whip up a tasty meal. We're going to get into the group in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned for more Smite action. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your first match of the finals for your Challenger Cup North American Series week number 3. Your contestants today will be the Rambozos in blue versus Vicious and Delicious in red.
Yeah, the Rambozos in blue will be playing with a mid lane Isis, a support Athena, jungle Nemesis, Hunter Apollo, and in the solo lane, they've actually got a sub. It's going to be Takati playing Aphrodite.
The Rambozos on the side of them, we'll actually see the Rambozo Aduro playing on that Isis. Old jokes never die, folks. And Vicious and Delicious, they don't want to die either, so they're going to group up along with their support to drop that ward. This allows them just to stay a little bit safer when they're warding preemptively, and it allows them to just maintain their... just making sure they don't die too often. Vicious and Delicious are going to bring Heater to the party. Heater will be playing in that solo lane on Ra. Skeledon will be playing Thor one more time in the jungle. Off the team, previously known as Kabam, that middle lane Zhang Kui, switching things up a little bit. Ecliptium and Wubba will find their way into the duo lane on Ram and Sobek.
Can't wait to see this match get underway. I'm really interested to see how the Isis plays out. Now, Aduro is a player that plays a lot. And we mentioned it's good against Zhang Kui in team fights, but it's also really good against Zhang in lane. Once you hit a certain level, well, you've kind of got enough control that if you play it right, you can actually silence and then stun after Zhang Kui uses his Expose Evil, the card, and it can last long enough that it will actually let the DOT fall off, which denies Zhang Kui the ability to heal. Very, very strong asset for Isis. She also has incredibly strong early clear from her Wind Gust and her special attack chain.
We're going to see the same start come out from the Pristine side one more time. Junglers skipping that red buff. Instead, 3 people share the mid-camp experience and then head right to blue. And then the lane, a little bit of aggression coming out from Skeledon onto Fiddy, but good thing they have Aphrodite. That'll be able to really heal any problems up immediately for Rambozos.
Now, in the solo duo lane, Skeledon once again on Thor. He played it very well last game, and we'll see if he can reprise his role. Also up against the Nemesis. Nice intro from Takati there as we're watching, but basically Ra, if you have him on your side for the solo duo, you probably have control because he brings so much lane clear and so much damage. Now Skeledon's rotating over, be looking for Aduro, but probably not going to get anything. Aduro has this spotted out. Minions are going to actually pop over, and that's a pause coming out at 124. This shouldn't be a very long pause. It's actually cat aggro.
It actually is. Fiddy, jungler for the Rambozos, his cat has unplugged his keyboard. It should be a quick pause, so we're just going to stay in game. No need to flip to anything else but right here. Take a look at the long lane right now. Duo lane, Chris Pocket playing his famous Athena. That's really the character that Chris Pocket likes to play the most. We see him come out a lot, win or lose. Likes to play that Athena, very effective player. That said, Vicious and Delicious have provided a lot of poke. The Paradox already down to about 25-30% HP.
Yeah, he's gotten poked down really low, and I think part of that is just the fear effect of Sobek. Sobek is almost as strong for his ability to be scary as he is for his ability to actually pull people out of position, because you're so afraid of getting pulled, or not even afraid, but respectful of getting pulled, that you have to change your positioning and can get sort of poked or whatever in other ways. But this pause should be ending soon. Let's talk about Skeledon's early rotation. He's going to be the first jungler to pop out of the solo lane. Probably won't be able to get off any invades here, but he's going to get some experience and just sort of siphon it off the team, which can really put him on the fast track to hitting level 5.
Yeah, I mean, one of the bigger things that we see, that I like to see from Thor, is using the wall. not as a stun, go for the stun of course, but as a actual wall. We won't be able to see that on a Duro because of the beautiful ward placed by the Rambozos, knowing that that's really what junglers do. They like to leave lane early, and he puts the ward down in between enemy red buff, and that allows that to really happen.
Well, there's a lot of early warding coming out from the Rambozos here, but I don't know if it's going to help them because this speed buff rotation fully warded out, but it will go to VishusNDelishus. Now a fight breaking out, damage onto Wubba. Chris Pocket's getting low. Nice wall. Skildon is going to have a lot of physical power. He will get the kill. He will get the first blood, but can he get out? No, Aduro finds the auto tech. Eclipse in the mix. Stunned out. Very high on health, but now Fiddy's coming over as well. And off the team's actually painfully late to this fight. Still level 4. Lands the slow. Paradox could be in trouble. Stunned out. Exorcism down to 1 health. Off the team finds the kill. Aduro's gonna fall to Wubba, and now it's Ecliptium versus Fiddy. Fiddy should have a dash up soon. Slice and Dice will get the kill. That's gonna be the shield dashing away, and overall 3 for 2 and the buff. VishusNDelishus looking very good.
That was one of the longest, most drawn out fights. Credit went both ways. VishusNDelishus do come up on top, as you say, and they were the ones to pick up not just first blood, but the enemy jungle camp as well. So it's going to be a great boon for the team in red, known as VishusNDelishus today. They're going to be off to a great start. The lead, not really anything to talk about, just 1,000 gold. But these middle camps are about to spawn, and we'll see who takes which camp as both teams find positioning.
Yeah, you do have Aduro on the right camp, just gonna drop a ward for now. Heater lurking in the jungle. Actually, it looks like Heater's gonna be rotating over to the right camp. Not something you see too often. Well, you see it from time to time from the solo lane, but Heater apparently just has so much lane control that he's gonna be able to help his team get both mid camps. Will use his snipe just to make sure he can confirm it in time, which I really like. And both mid camps go the way of VishusNDelishus. Wubba's in the middle lane. Will apply a bit of pressure, but it's not going to really do much but allow off the team to clear safely. And that Sobek's going to head back into the jungle, back to the left lane.
Here comes Fiddy onto off the team. There is a diamond Sobek here, so that's not going to be too big of a fight. But that rotation coming out from Heater is also part of what Ra does. Ra has that extra movement speed. They're aggressing onto Wubba, the lone Sobek. He's got a sail whip. He should be able to charge.
He's fighting
here, no problem. He turns, waiting for his team to show up, and there they are. Skeleton drops down, walls off Fiddy, but he gets stunned down on the backside from Aduro. Coming down is Chris Pocket, annihilates the enemy. Off the team's gonna take down Fiddy, and Chris Pocket trying to get the safety of his tower. Very low, but still wants to taunt. Here comes the Paradox. Both members of the duo lane are out, and they're trying to fight, but I think they've gotten all that they can get. They're gonna take down the enemy jungler with great rotations, and here's Ecliptium. Fiddy, Chris Pocket gets away, no sweat. And that one's going to go to the Rambozos.
It was a nice roll from Ecliptium, but he just couldn't find the auto attacks that he wanted, unfortunately. Will go up in the air. He's got a snipe opportunity on Aduro. One hit, off the team gets the kill. Great team play. And Aduro just not really respecting, first of all, Zhongkui's incredible ability to dive because he gives himself protections. And not respecting the fact that he didn't have an ultimate, and not respecting the fact that Rom was in the area and hadn't been seen leaving. The ward on the left-hand side would have seen Rama get out of there. So Aduro dove, taken out, and it's going to be 2 kills for 1 in favor of VishusNDelishus. Now on the right-hand side, Skildon has returned to the fray, and with Heater, they're going to eventually make the decision to go for Blue Buff.
Fiddy's going to try and stop them with Takati here. Here comes the third member, Aduro, the rotation master, but Fiddy takes both ultimate, well, one ultimate and a lot of damage. He's going to fall to the wayside thanks to Skeleton's last hit, and that's going to be a jungler dead for blue buff.
Really nice combo from Heater as well. I mean, seeing that point blank raw snipe, it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
That's
so
why
that
I called
was such great
ultimates. It just looked like 2.
It was so much damage, and he did use the 1-4 combo. You can fire the celestial beam as you go into your ultimate. It's harder to hit, but he did. And he used his slow. It was really good. Now Wubba, once again, he's always getting caught in this same position, but getting caught is relative as Skeleton goes in there. Wubba does have Divine Judgment. Isis ult has been used, so it's not going to be available here. To Defender of Olympus coming through onto Fiddy. His Recall Demons coming out on the south side of the fight. Fiddy's going to be returning to tower. Apollo's going to ult in. Nice mez out, gets the kill onto Wubba and dash away. Off the team's going to rotate over the speed buff. Skeleton doesn't find the double tap he wanted. and Ecliptium's rotating he doesn't have boots, so he can't really match the rotation speed of Apollo, but they're going to make it work for them, once again taking the speed buff. Skilladon actually doesn't quite get it as fast as he wants to, but will still be able to get away. Ecliptium with the roll, gets taunted back, nice beads, early beads, and that should be the end of it.
VishusNDelishus is just always in this back jungle. You talked about it. You said how we keep seeing this Sobek caught out down by the second tower. Right now, Chris Pocket taking a lot of damage for these mid camps. Fiddy chasing a little bit, but nothing they can really do to that Zhang Kui, so they're going to opt to not do it. Meanwhile, Heater quietly taking Soul Lane Tower on the right side. That's going to be first kill for the towers. 7 minutes
Chris
in.
Pocket got interrupted, recalling with a double tap. Wubba smelled it out from a ward, walks over, gets the kill with charge. Pray. Big mistake. Don't lazy back. Y'all know the drill, but it happens from time to time. Now Duro's going to be walled off. Nice double tap once again. Somebody's been leveling their hammer. Pull out a tower. Better beads. You can beads on response to the hit of the pull. That's exactly what Aduro did. But yeah, the tower going down, Takati made the decision to rotate over to the fight on the left-hand side and help out. Skilladon, though, going up in the air, and Paradox could be in trouble.
Paradox might not be. There it is. He lands. Ecliptium very low. That is live bait. Ecliptium definitely just hanging out, able to take those shots because he knows his jungler is going to show up. Fiddy's getting very jealous right here. Wants to get that kill. Not able to really do much, but here comes the rest of Rambozos. Might be able to turn it around. There's a good bunch of damage on the Skilladon. Fiddy's trying to chase, blows the ultimate on him. Might not be able to handle it. We'll see that in the back. Chris Pocket gets taken down by off the team. Fiddy still giving chase onto the Thor, while Wubba slowly goes down to the hand of Isis. Skilladon gets out. Skilladon gets out.
He gets out, and Rom
in
is
the
up.
sky looking for Fiddy. One shot, one kill. Two more shots, 2 kills, and Aduro takes down off the team. Ecliptium's got to get out of here. He just fell out of that Rom ult. Slow, stun, basic. Aduro takes him down. That's going to be a long 2-for-3 engagement. Rambozos on the top of that one.
But not for long, because look at this right-hand lane. You've got a Raw split pushing, one of the better split push mages for his ability to sustain creeps. He's got the big creep, which is exactly what he wants. And this right tower might not go down. Fiddy is on his way, but it's going to be very, very close. And just having a tower so low means you lose a lot of lane pressure, especially with a semi-global ultimate like Thor. You can definitely get that kill on demand. And speaking of Thor rotating into the jungle, Skilladon does have about half health, but he's also got a real big hammer, and the double taps could be big enough to make something happen. We do know he's leveling it, and yeah, Skilladon's going to go up in the air looking for Aduro. He's going to go to his speed buff, decides better.
Yeah, there's a couple of choices for him to go to, and honestly, judging Skilladon's playstyle in the last semi-final match and what we've seen with the 9.5 minutes of this finals match, Skilladon's ready to go for those aggressive plays as long as he knows his team is there to really take over. So, you know, it would have surprised me if he went for the Aduro right there. Instead, he opts to go and plays the safe way for once in his life. And VishusNDelishus taking a look at these left-hand mid-camps.
Yeah, left-hand mid-camps will be taken down. Chris Pocket's going to be able to dash away. Wubba's always in that corridor. Every time I see him, he's just in the corridor between the speed buff and the middle tower. Really liking it there.
Yeah, you know, he keeps finding that out, and the point that I want to bring up is VishusNDelishus take the right camps as well. As you said, being caught is subjective.
Yeah.
And that's really what we see. We see kind of the baits from the Rambozo or from VishusNDelishus a lot. Wubba keeps getting caught out over here behind the first tier tower, which forces the Aduro to make the easy rotation. And then all of a sudden the rest of his team is here. Fiddy's trying to invade. Gets the reset is Wubba. Trying to fight, waiting for his team. There's 3 members in blue surrounding 1 single member in red. Wubba gets the clap. He's under the water. Takes out a big chunk of Fiddy's HP. Fiddy's able to get out of there with the double dash, but Ecliptium's in the air. 1 shot, 1 more kill. Looking for more damage in that ult. Finally lands. Apollo's in the air too. Ecliptium gets the kill on the ground onto the Aduro. 1 more player. Chris Pocket surrounded by 5. Gets the taunt. Doesn't matter. Heater hits him with the Celestial Beam, and Takati underneath the tower, stunned out, double tap, no follow-up from VishusNDelishus. They're looking for the Gold Fury.
And here's the difference between the solo laners, and it's not, this isn't a knock at the players, it's just what's happening. Aphrodite rotates, and Rambozos are able to get, what was it, a 3 for 2, but they almost lose their second tier tower. Ra rotates, and they win the fight 3-0 and get a Gold Fury. So, VishusNDelishus wins the fight 3-0 and gets the Gold Fury. Ra's been able to be a little bit more impactful because he waited to rotate and then he committed to a rotation where he had more farm and was able to be a bigger deal in the fight. That said, it also comes down to Aphrodite isn't quite as strong as Ra until a little bit later in the game, where you take a regular carry and make them into a bruiser, or you take a hyper carry and you make them into a hyper carry bruiser.
Right.
Which is silly.
That's why I said right so matter of factly.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Anyway, Skeleton trades a stun for a stun. Aduro's going to miss that one, but he's not going to get double tapped because Skeleton had to move to get away from the Spirit Ball. Love those micro transactions going on right there. 3 members for Rambozos in the middle lane, only 2 for VishusNDelishus. Hunter duel has resumed, solo duel has resumed, and Ra is going to find Fiddy in the jungle. That's a 5-level bonus for Heater. Stunned out by Takati, expecting the comeback from Fiddy, but Fiddy's only level 9. Now he's in a lot of trouble, slowed by Off the Team. Off the Team's trying to make the rotation onto him. Fiddy needs to be very, very careful here, folks. Chris Pocket gonna go ahead and ult over here, leaving the 2 hunters all by themselves on the left side of the map. Where is VishusNDelishus going?
Well, Ecliptium's actually going to go back in because he's going to turn on the Paradox, not quite finding the auto attacks he wants, rolling away. Rambozos rotating around by their speed buff. VishusNDelishus are just looking for an opportunity to fight. Historically, in this game, it's been on buffs. They have actually gotten every speed buff, I am pretty sure. And with good reason. I mean, when you get a speed buff, you attack faster, you move faster, you do everything faster. It's definitely the most impactful buff in the game because the point of Smite is to go as fast as possible. That's what I've been told.
This aggression in the right-hand side is coming in pretty fast. Off the Team comes in from the pincer on the left-hand side. 2-3 members of the Rambozos stuck out. That's a good back off coming out from Takati, and the ultimate is being channeled from the Zhang Kui. In the backside lands the Paradox. Off the Team's going to be taken down by Fiddy. That's going to be a good one for him. His 3rd kill goes the way of Sobek. Ram is in the air, lands directly on Aduro, while Heater finally takes out that pesky nemesis. 3 members alive under this tower for VishusNDelishus. Only 2 remain for the Rambozos. The Paradox just barely getting out. He's going to take down Skeleton by the skin of his teeth. Folks, Chris Pocket is still here. The Paradox in front of his support. 2 members of VishusNDelishus have to nurse their wounds and walk backwards, but they're still going to take this tower.
Oh, Ecliptium's getting rather low. Paradox has no health, but will find the auto attack, and Ecliptium will fall. Ecliptium's been real good with his ults this game, but in terms of in-hands, it just honestly kind of looks like he's been outclassed by the Paradox, who's honestly a really good hunter player. Definitely one of the players I'm looking at to potentially go into the SPL at some point. If not this season, maybe in the next season. We'll see.
The minions just barely missed that mid tower, Cret.
Well, and the right tower. Honestly, VishusNDelishus kind of played that fight sloppy. It looked like the call was just like, yeah, let's kill him. And they didn't really think about the fact that they were diving into an ice assault. Zhang Kui was tanking the tower. He got hit by the nemesis ult. They weren't focusing the tower. Some of the Ra was rotating around the back, which made him delayed. He was able to get a kill off of it, but he wasn't there to heal. There were just a few things that sandbagged the team fight for VishusNDelishus. And though they actually didn't lose that much gold from it somehow, they maybe dropped 500 gold. It didn't go for as well for them as they would have liked. Nice pluck out onto Fiddy. Does he have the dash to get away? And it looks like, no, he's going to be able to walk out this time. Speed buff is up. You already know. You already know.
I mean, Vicious and Delicious have been routinely invading. Right now, Rambozos trying to make that stop.
They get it.
Paradox versus Skeleton on the left side. We have 3 versus 2 over here on the right side for Vicious and Delicious. Underneath on that Isis ultimate, Aduro. He's going to kill off the team. He's going to kill Aduro, rather. Takati's going to go down to the hand of the Hunter. Ram, 3 versus 2 at the moment. Chris Pocket playing it safe. Paradox going to take down his enemy Hunter. Skeleton very, very low. Still wanting to fight this Athena. Basic hammer. Both the escape and the kill come in one swift attack. Paradox aggressing onto the Sobek. Sobek very, very low. Fiddy played it safe because he's 2 levels beneath the support. He gets stunned out, and now he's down for the count. Sobek gets the kill on that one. That's going to be Wubba's 4th kill of the game. The support is 4, 3, and 12.
This game has, first of all, been full of snipes. I mean, Vicious and Delicious honestly should probably talk to Incon, I guess, as a team captain right now, about being sniped red, because you've got Rom ults, Raw ults, and Skeleton with his hammer is just sniping people left and right. Everything's happening from maximum range. It's really, really intense. It's just really cool to watch. But, you know what the thing about that team fight was? That was actually a 4v4. There's a solo kill in the right-hand lane, and Heater was able to get right tower and mid tower, then show up at the fight.
A lot of objectives going the way for Heater's team, Vicious and Delicious. 17.5 minutes in, we see a 10,000 gold lead going the way of the red team. 13,000 experience as well. So Vicious and Delicious off to a mean start in Game 1 of our North American Challenger Cup Finals.
Oh, one other thing I want to highlight. Really good play from Vicious and Delicious. We talked about the Isis ult earlier, and there was a good Isis ult in that fight from Aduro, but there was an even better play from Vicious and Delicious because they dropped Weakening Curse and they walked away, and they're like, all right, if you leave the ult, we're gonna kill you. If you stay in the ult, it's gonna pop, it's not gonna heal you, and then we're gonna kill you. And that was really intelligent, really good counterplay to the Isis ult. I haven't seen that before. Thor is up, he wants to fight, not gonna find the hit, but the wall not gonna come out, and is not gonna be an engagement. The red buff will go to Rambozos. I mean, yeah, Rambozos, yeah.
Good play coming out. Vicious and Delicious looking like they wanted to Fire Giant. This might just be a bait, though. I think they want to come over to the Fire Giant region, be seen on the wards, and force Rambozos to group over here. We don't see any abilities come out. There's the charge prey. He's going to miss it, get stunned, and silenced. Stun comes out with a double tap. Aduro, he's going to go down unless some magic happens.
Wow.
Wubba kills him again. Before that, Chris Pocket ultimate comes out. We have the 200s on the left-hand side. Remember, Apollo will be able to rotate a little quicker than Rom. That's a good flip onto Takati. He's down for the count. The 4-man pain train of Vicious and Delicious making their way back to the Fire Giant region. Nemesis not really able to do much. Still, level 12.
So I almost really like what I'm seeing Rambozos doing here. It's super close. There are just a few things that aren't there, mostly actives, right? You've got an Isis with Aegis and her ultimate, and an Athena ult on the Isis. But the Aegis isn't high enough. It's not rank 3, so it doesn't give you % damage reduction. There's no shell, and because of that, you can't use DR stack to make an invulnerable Isis. Nice dash in from Chris Pocket. He actually could get this Fire Giant. Wubba needs to get the flip. He will get knocked up. Fire Giant's not getting hit. Stop all DPS. Skeleton goes down. I'm just staring at this buff. And slightly too soon from Chris Pocket. When you are the thief, you have to try and get it a little bit earlier than your opponent. He just didn't get it. He tried. And that's all you can do.
Honestly, it was a good try coming out
Yeah.
from the Rambozos. A lot of times we'll see tries to just aren't all there, and as casters we kind of have to pretty it up as Ecliptium gets the solo kill in the duo lane. One-on-one hunter battles have been all across this game. The kill gets him a tower. Ecliptium's gonna go home. One of the biggest factors in this game, Kret, has been the repeated speed buff joke. We've tossed around jokes before about the speed buff, but
Best buff.
the reality of the game is that Fiddy is level 13, and he's level 13, he's 4, 7, and 3. 7 deaths is a lot, but 4 kills and 3 assists, that's respectable.
Sure.
The reason he's that low is because he literally hasn't had speed buff all game. That's farm, that's experience, and by staying in the jungle, you're creating a situation where Fiddy can't feel safe, Fiddy can't farm by himself, and Vicious and Delicious have really made this nemesis feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. F-Dot isn't saying that it's literally not having speed buff until now that has Fiddy level 13. That's an indicator of the factors that have him at level 13. It's massive jungle pressure coming out from VishusNDelishus.
Exactly.
And I like this play because Skildon is definitely one of the players you want to talk about if you're saying who's the strongest player on VishusNDelishus. He is... Even if you don't want to say he's the strongest player, you gotta say he's the core of the team. They are playing around their Thor. That's super cool. Next game, we're gonna see a Thor ban.
They are playing around Skeleton because he makes them. Thor goes up,
Yeah.
Thor comes down, and VishusNDelishus better respond
Yeah.
because everybody's stunned
hold
and
on, though,
Skeleton's
Sobek.
20%.
So
What was-
Sobek nearly caught out a rotation, but didn't find the charge brain. At this point,
Here it comes.
Sobek's tanky enough. He's just gonna look for any pull he can get. Thor's up in the air. Can they get the fight? It looks like no, and this is fine. Like VishusNDelishus are gonna be like, all right, we're gonna take Phoenixes, and in the meantime, we're gonna look for picks. That means mid Phoenix will go down. That's a pick on a Paradox. Shell will expire rather soon. Ice Assault is down, but the positioning isn't exactly what needs to happen. It will do a lot of damage, but it will not result in a kill. Fiddy's gonna fall, and now it's just Chris Pocket remaining. This could get really low. Chris Pocket pulled out of the fountain. Will he get turned on off the team? Finds the kill. Deicide, and the Titan will fall as well. VishusNDelishus take game 1. Moving on to game 2. Well played.
Very well played by VishusNDelishus. They really, you know, and I like this. I like this play cred because it seems like VishusNDelishus understand the Rambozos. These are teams filled with players that have been in and out of the competitive scene for a very long time. They know each other. They know each other's playstyles to a certain extent. And it seems like you made the point that VishusNDelishus really work off of Skeleton, right?
Yeah. And so I just got a message from Skeleton that I think is going to make your point for you. He messages me, I love speed buff.
Exactly, it's that hyper aggression, and you take a look at what Fiddy can bring to the table, and you know, Fiddy's a high ranked player. He understands how to play the jungle for the most part, and he catches a lot of flack. I'll definitely be the first one to recognize that, but I think he's a strong jungler. Aduro playing that Isis. Aduro's a very strong mid laner, but on that Isis, he's going to be playing a little bit more control. Chris Pocket is a support. Talkadia playing Athena, playing Aphrodite, again, great player, playing a little bit more control. The paradox is Apollo. Nemesis really has to bring a lot to the table when you have an Isis Aphrodite mage combo. So what VishusNDelishus did was they noticed that, they noticed the picks and bans, they noticed the players, and they bullied the jungler for the entirety of this match. And I think that's what won the game.
Well, and the other thing is that, you know, I think Paradox is a really good player, and the kind of I think Rambozos can do the same thing around the Paradox that they do with that their opponents, VishusNDelishus, do with Skeleton. Build around him, basically for protect one, whereas VishusNDelishus is more like for follow up on one. But that's not really going to happen with Apollo unless you're able to get super fed off of your alt rotations, which wasn't happening because the alt rotations were reactive and not even proactive. More like they weren't playmaking rotations. They were, there's a fight and I gotta help, and that's not going to set the tone to get Paradox super fed and have him carry the game. I like what I saw from the Rambozos, and I like some of the methodology, but as I mentioned in the game, they had some great combos they didn't quite use. So like percent damage reduction, stacks linearly, you see it on Shell, Aegis Amulet, Isis Ultimate, Athena Ultimate, and all of those were in the game, but we never actually saw that used. And we never saw the super tank Isis or super tank Nemesis, or and you know, part of it is the fact that Isis ult is the hardest ultimate to place in the game, because you're not just saying this will do damage here, you're saying this circle for the next 30 seconds with no way to actually keep people in it will contain the team fight with both teams. Like, that's really hard to do.
That's fair. I will say that I did really like the ultimates that came out from Aduro. They were played around better by Vicious and Delicious, but I think they were really effective. And I want to say before we move on to next match that I think both teams played well in this game. And again, I think Vicious and Delicious won this game because they played the picks and bans. 2 control mages means that you don't have to focus on shutting one down like you would a Janos or a Hebo or something like that. You could just focus 100% of your attention onto the jungle. And that's what they did. I don't think this was a player versus player match. I think this was a knowledge versus knowledge match. And Vicious and Delicious went ahead and took it like that. Going into game 2, I think that we could see a very good game coming out of Rambozos, and I'm excited to see it. So without further ado, we're going to cut to a brief break and head right into picks and bans.